Welcome to today's news briefing. Up next, we'll take a look at the latest developments unfolding across the world's major hotspots.
Event number 1. Ukrainian special forces successfully destroyed many Russian military targets. Event number 2. Experts analyze internal instability and Russia's weakened position in the world.
And now, for the details.
Operators from the Security Service of Ukraine Special Center, A, have destroyed Russian air defense systems in the Crimean peninsula and in occupied territories of the southeastern Zaporizhzhia region. Footage of the operation was published on social media. The images show precision strikes on Russian military targets in various areas across the front line. Among the targets hit were a Buk M1 self-propelled medium-range surface-to-air missile system, the Azovska and Dzhankoi oil depots in the Russian-annexed Crimean peninsula, as well as a technical logistics warehouse and a fuel and lubricants depot in Zaporizhzhia. The attacks were carried out using Ukrainian FPV drones, revealing a significant shortage of Russian ground-based systems in certain areas of the front line. Ukraine's increased deployment of drones within Russian surveillance range has further complicated the invaders' defense systems. Previous reports indicated that on March 10th, Ukrainian forces also conducted successful strikes on the Kremniy microelectronics plant in Bryansk, using short-range shadow missiles. Ukraine has intensified its missile and drone strikes on Russian targets deep within Russian territory and in the occupied territories of Ukraine. Meanwhile, the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine reported on March 10th that Ukrainian forces had engaged Russian troops in 137 combat clashes across the front over the past day. Ukrainian special forces have carried out strikes against strategic Russian military facilities in the occupied areas. The Ukrainian military hit the radar system of a Russian S-400 surface-to-air missile complex in Sevastopol, in Russian-occupied Crimea. Footage of the operation captures moments of precision strikes on multiple Russian targets, followed by powerful explosions. The 64N6E radar station and its antenna, which serves as the eyes for Russia's S-300 and S-400 surface-to-air missile systems, was completely destroyed. Additionally, units from the Special Operations Forces Tactical Group conducted a raid on a Russian weapons depot in occupied Donbass, a storage site for reconnaissance drones, and a Russian logistics supply depot in Maryanivka in the southeastern Zaporizhzhia region. As a result, a missile and artillery weapons depot in the settlement of Shiroka Balka in the eastern Donetsk region was destroyed, with ammunition continuing to detonate afterward. Notably, the Ukrainian military has expanded the scale of its missile and drone attacks on the invaders, military facilities in occupied territories, and deep inside Russia. These attacks aim to degrade Russia's ability to sustain operations near the front lines and to disrupt supply routes supporting Russian forces in illegally occupied territories. The S-400 Triumph surface-to-air missile system is a key component of Russia's layered air defense system, designed to detect and destroy a wide range of aerial threats, including fighter jets, strategic bombers, drones, cruise missiles, and some types of ballistic missiles. The system is considered one of Russia's most advanced air defense platforms. Volodymyr Ohrysko, director of the Center for Russian Studies, a diplomat and former Ukrainian foreign minister, stated that the dictator Vladimir Putin needs to learn from U.S. President Donald Trump on how to conduct special military operations. He made this comment in an interview with Glavred while discussing the situation surrounding the U.S. and Israeli conflict against Iran. The expert said, however, "I think Putin will soon not need anything because he might become the next leader after Khamenei, but he will be thrown out by his own people." Assessing Beijing's role, he noted that China will soon see that Russia is failing, as China is well aware of this after Russia lost its position in Iran. Russia is becoming visibly weaker. China is taking a very realistic view of the situation, so they understand that Russia is on the brink of collapse. This is not beneficial for them right now because they've already taken everything they want and need from Russia, selling all their goods to Russia. By all means. Buying Russian raw materials at prices they set themselves? By all means. Why give up that advantage? He noted. In his view, this situation will continue as long as the Russian regime remains on its shaky legs. If those legs begin to buckle and Russia starts to collapse, China will face a simple question: what to do next? How to manage this vast, leaderless territory? Then, negotiations will quickly begin between China, the U.S., Europe, and other parties interested in restoring order to this territory. Consequently, back-channel discussions will begin about what to do if that scenario unfolds, and we need to do everything we can to make sure that happens as soon as possible, Ohrysko added. Economic and political expert Taras Zahorodny commented on the possibility of internal conflicts in Russia I have more faith in conflicts between Russia's local authorities and the federal government. Quote, That is, when local authorities, not the people, will directly confront the central government. If local budgets run out of money and can no longer maintain infrastructure, schools, or public transport, then local authorities will have to answer to the people instead of Putin, he emphasized. According to the expert, a similar situation occurred in the Soviet Union as it began to collapse, when there was no money to support local elites and no funds being transferred from Moscow. Of course, there are still the Russians' deposits, about 60 trillion rubles worth, and the Russian government will certainly try to confiscate these funds. They are already implementing mechanisms to prevent people from withdrawing money from banks. This is being done with vague wording, stating that if a bank sees transactions it deems uncontrollable, it has the right to freeze the funds. This phenomenon has become widespread, he explained. Zaporizhzhia also recalled that before the collapse of the Soviet Union, a confiscatory monetary reform was carried out.